Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. It's Bethany here. I hope you're all well. If you're new here, hi, my name is Bethany. I just had a baby. Yeah, I haven't uploaded in about 6 weeks, and that is purely down to what I have in my arms right now. Who I have in my arms right now. So 5 weeks ago I had this little munchkin, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my labour and delivery experience. She is awake, as you can see. She is moving around. She is fighting her sleep at the moment, so please just, yeah, let's just go with it. Right, let's just tell you sort of like the basics. I didn't have a normal labour. It wasn't started, like it didn't start all by itself. I was induced. Like it helped it speed up the progress. So yeah, I was induced. It didn't just happen by itself. Reason I was induced, so we'll start from on the 29th of July, I wasn't feeling any movements coming from my baba. She wasn't moving, she wasn't kicking, nothing like that. So this was like around 5 o'clock in the evening. I realised that, you know, I haven't really felt her move today. I thought, you know what, I feel her move a lot in the evening, so I'll just wait, you know, for like later on in the evening, so like early hours in the morning. So I waited, and you know, I didn't feel nothing. So then I woke up the next morning and I rang triage, which is like a pregnancy A&E sort of thing, and I rang them and they told me just to come straight in. So I went straight in and they put me on the Doppler, which is the heart monitoring device thing, heartbeat monitoring thing. And they monitored it, and you know, her heartbeat was fine, she was absolutely fine. However, I wasn't feeling her kick. And I was there from 10 AM until 5 PM, and they was just monitoring her, and then they told me to come back because they'd done some like blood tests and stuff like that. Everything was fine, and then they told me to come back the next day because obviously I still haven't felt her kick, and they said the only way you know if your baby is okay at home is if they're kicking and they're moving around. So they told me to come back the next day and we'll basically repeat the process. So then I go back the next day, which was the Tuesday the 31st, and they did the same thing. They put me on the machine which monitors the heartbeat, and yeah, they basically spoke to me about everything, and then they decided they was going to induce me the following day, so Wednesday the 1st. And on the Tuesday they performed a sweep on me, which is where they sort of like put their fingers around your cervix, sort of trying to open it, sort of like naturally inducing labour without any drugs involved. Yes. So yeah, they decided to do that, and then on the Wednesday morning I rang up the hospital and I was told to come straight in to be induced. So I went in at 9. I think I got there at 9, and they put the pessary in, which is like a little tampon, and they obviously put it up you, and she's still awake. And yeah, it has like these drugs on it that sort of like help to open up your cervix and sort of speed things up. For some people it works, some people it doesn't work, you know, it varies on the person. And so yeah, they gave it to me, and then they was monitoring her heartbeat, and then they told me that I can, you know, walk around and do what I want, but I will be staying at hospital all the night. So me and my sister, we went out, you know, we carried on like day-to-day life. I couldn't feel it inside me. Like I said, it's just like a tampon, you don't feel it. So yeah, carried on with day-to-day life, done what I wanted to do. And then about 5 o'clock that day, so 5 p.m, I started to get some pains, and I thought they were just Braxton Hicks contractions, but it turns out they weren't. It was actually contractions, and they were like slowly building up, but at around 5 o'clock they were absolutely fine, you know. I didn't think nothing of it. And then we got to the hospital for about 6:30, because that's when I was told to come back, because they had to monitor her heartbeat again. And they monitored her, everything was fine. Then I walked around the hospital. Yeah, I walked around the hospital, and then the pain, like the contractions, started to progress. They started to get worse. Still fine, like I was still carrying on, you know, it didn't really affect me as much. And then my mum and my partner left the hospital, and obviously I was by myself. And then it got to around 9 p.m, and that's when they were really like, they were getting more and more intense. So I rang up my partner and I told him to come, and I spoke to the midwife, and she just gave me cocodamol, because I thought, you know what, it's still the start, they're only going to get worse, so I don't want to be put on something heavy straight away. So just got to sleep now. So yeah, she just gave me cocodamol, and I had that, and to be honest, it didn't really do anything. And then at around 11:30, I went to the midwife and I asked her for something stronger, because it was just getting more and more intense, and I just needed a little something to boost. Like I needed a boost of something, basically. So I told the midwife, and she offered me pethidine, which is just an injection that you get in your leg, if I can remember rightly. Correct me if I'm wrong. You get in your leg, and it helps to ease the pain, but it also, like, the side effects is just it makes you very drowsy, and it can make your baby very drowsy. And so she offered me that, but she said obviously I have to check how dilated you are first, because past a certain point they can't give it to you. So she done that, and she said I was about 2 to 3 centimeters, and so she said it was still fine to give me it, but she was going to book me in to the labour ward, because I was going to have my waters probably broken. And then so she gave me the pethidine, and then no, she didn't give me the pethidine. That so before she gave me the pethidine, she checked how dilated I was 2 to 3 centimeters, and then she went and got the heart monitoring machine, and she told me that she was going to go book me into the labour ward so I can get moved there so they can break my waters. And then she came back and she had the heart monitor and she was putting it on, and my waters broke by themselves. There you go, that's how quick they broke. And they broke at about 12:15, my waters broke. And then, so yeah, they broke naturally. And then I was given the pethidine, and I was also given antibiotics. And this is because I had group B strep. If you don't know what that is, it's basically just an infection that you get in your vagina. It's not nothing you can do about it. Some people get it, some people don't. You might have it one pregnancy but then not have it the other. No, it's just one of them things. It just happens. So I had that, so I had to have antibiotics. But you're supposed to let that work for about 2 hours, I think it is. It's got to be in your system before it starts, like, you know, doing its thing. And then yeah, so they were putting me on the antibiotics. They first put it in my right hand, but it was put in wrong, and they put it into my tissue in my hand. So then they had to take it out, and then they put it in my left hand. The cannula, they put it in my left hand. And then by that point my mum came, so I had my mum and my partner there. They were my 2 birthing partners. And then I was about 10 minutes after my mum came, so this was about 1:45, 10 to 1. I could feel like a pain and I needed to push. That's how I felt. Are you pooping on me? Are you pooping on me? Yeah, I felt like I really needed to push something. I kept saying to my mum, something's happening down there, and you know, I really need to push. I want to push. So my mum went to the midwife, because obviously my mum knows a lot more than me. She's been through it like 3 times. So she went to the midwife and she said, you know, she's saying that she needs to push, so you need to do what you need to do. Bearing in this mind, I wasn't on the labour ward. I was still on the Hope ward, which is a ward that you can go on before you go into the labour ward, or you go in there after you've had your baby and stuff like that. But yeah, that's where I was. I was on the Hope ward. And then, so my mum told them, and then about 5 minutes later we was packing up my stuff that I had around the bed, and they got me a wheelchair, and I went in the wheelchair, and then they took me straight to the birthing room. And so yeah, that's when I met my 2 midwives that was actually going to help me deliver the baby. And obviously I was on the bed, and then they were putting in the drip into my arm, which had the actual antibiotics for my group B strep. And then obviously they was filling out all my documents, and about 1:20 I could feel it getting really worse, and I just wanted to push. That's all I wanted to do, was just push. But I was told, obviously, don't push until you're told you need to push, because otherwise you can tear, things can happen, you know, you don't really want to tear. So I kept telling the midwives, you know, something's happening, I really feel like I need to push. And then once they had done everything that they needed to do, at about 1:25, they checked. 1:25 in the morning, so 2nd of August, 1:25. They checked how dilated I was, and I was fully dilated. So my waters broke at 1:15, and I was told that I could push at 1:25. And then, so that was it. I could start pushing. So I was pushing, and it took about 6 pushes. It took about 6 pushes and 10 minutes to get this bubba out. She was born at 1:35 AM on the 2nd of August 2018, and she was weighing £7 5 ounces. You know, she's not that no more, but she was weighing £7 5 ounces, and she was just a little chunk. Yes, she was. She's smiling. So obviously I've had her now, and I was in the birthing room, you know, they were sorting everything out, stuff like that. And then I went upstairs to the Mary ward, and this is where I was staying obviously the night. And yeah, I went up there. I was the only one in my sort of room. There was no one else in there. And yeah, I don't know where to go from there. So in the next morning, obviously my partner went home after I had given birth. He went to stay at my house, because obviously I don't live far from the hospital. I live about 10-minute walk from the hospital, 5-minute drive. You know, it's easy to get there, it's super easy. So he went back to mine, and the next morning my sister came up first thing in the morning, and I went and sorted myself out, you know, had a wash and stuff like that, because obviously I hadn't washed, and you know, you'd feel a bit gunky. And yeah, so my sister came up, and you know, she got to meet her. And then the midwife that was on my ward, they obviously have to check your baby and make sure they're doing it fine, and they check you to make sure you're doing fine. And they was checking like her temperature, and her temperature was low. It was lower than normal. I think their temperature has to be 37 and above, and her temperature was like 36 point something or 35 point something. I think the lowest it got was 35.4. And so she went to another room, and the doctor there, she told me that she had the group B strep infection, which for a baby to have it is worse, because babies can actually die from it. And that's what went into my head straight away, and that was it. I was crying. I was upset, because I was told that in a few hours I'd be able to go home, and then now I'm being told you've got to stay because your baby has this. And to be honest, that is the hospital's fault, because they didn't put the antibiotics in me straight away. They put the antibiotics in me when I went into the birthing room, and that was about half an hour before my baby was born. And that them antibiotics have to be in there about 1 to 2 hours before you have your baby, and so the antibiotics can actually kick in and start to work. And they didn't do that soon enough. I know that they might have thought, oh, okay, her waters are broke, it's still going to be ages until she's actually given birth, but they should know that how quick you can go from your waters breaking to giving birth. They should know that it can happen just like that. It can happen. Yes. And yeah, so that was the hospital's, like the midwife's fault, and I was really angry as well. But at that time, all I could think about was her and just making sure she's okay. So she had to be put on antibiotics for 48 hours. She had a cannula in her hand, and yeah, she had to have 4 doses of antibiotics every 12 hours, so I had to stay in hospital for 2 days. Once she had the antibiotics, her temperature did start to go up. Obviously, I couldn't leave until the antibiotics had completed. I could go home, but I didn't want to leave her. I wanted to stay with her. There was no way I was leaving her in the hospital, in the ICU, I think it was called. There was no way I was leaving her there. No way. I'd rather her stay with me than go somewhere else. So yeah, she was in there she was getting the antibiotics for 2 days, and then Saturday came. So Saturday the 4th of August came, and that was the day that was it. That was her last of her antibiotics. And then I took her to the doctor, and the doctor said that she's fine. She hasn't got it. She can go. Like, the antibiotics have, you know, killed it off. It's gone. She can go home. I cannot tell you how happy I was. Just to know that she was coming home and she was fine was all that mattered to me. That's all I wanted. And now I'm just so happy that I've got her home and she's absolutely fine. Like, she's healthy as anything now. So yeah, we went home, and that's it really. That's everything. and she's doing perfectly fine. Like, she is such an alert baby. Like, she's like the granny of babies. Like, she's aging before her time already. Like, it's crazy. Like, she's so alert. She's looking around everywhere. She's listening to you. She's smiling. She's getting a lot of strength in her legs and her head already. And she's 5 weeks old. She was 5 weeks old yesterday. And she's a dream come true. Like, I cannot tell you how happy I am that she's here now. I do miss being pregnant. Like, I can't explain to you. Like, I miss being pregnant so much. But I've got her. That's all I care about now, and all I wanted was to have her, and I've got her now. This is Harper Robin Johnston. Say hi. Say hi. This is my beautiful girl. The name Harper, it was sort of planned but wasn't planned, if you get what I mean. Her name was either going to be Harper or Robin, and we chose Harper, and Robin is her middle name. But yeah, she's absolutely, oh, I can't even put into words. Like, she's just amazing. She's like sort of like going to sleep, and she's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, mummy? What are you doing to me? Yes, I'm talking to you. She might crack a smile. I don't know. She might not. But yeah, this is my daughter, and you'll be getting so many more mum videos, mummy diary videos from me. Like, I love these videos. I think they're amazing. I watch them all the time. So I am definitely going to be doing all of these. Every type of video you can think of, I will try and do, you know. But I'm going to be doing videos more frequently now. I just wanted to have some time with her, for her to get used to me and for me to get used to her and being a mum. But yeah. So that is all for today's video. I will see you all next week for another video. Maybe this one will be included. I'm not too sure yet. I have to plan it all out. Yes, are you talking to them too? So I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.